Ninjo X the Enlightened Gamer. Welcome back to Let's Play Twilight Princess. And now that I've said that, we're probably going to go into post because this is the episode that I planned to be my Anatomy of the Zora episode. I figured out some really interesting thing about the supposed fish people. Things. Plural. So, first off, as long as we're talking about the Zora, we might as well mention their other variations. I started to during the climb to Zora's domain, but I never really got to finish because I kept on getting hit by falling icicles. The first type of Zora that we see in the Zelda series are the classic Zora, which were replaced by Octoroks. Their entire purpose in the game was to pop up out of the water and spit fireballs at you from the waves. The only friendly Zora like this are the ones in is the one in A Link to the Past that gives you the Zora flippers, and the ones in A Link Between Worlds that you help their queen, and their queen turns out to be basically one of the sages. Anyways, the first group of Zoras are the monstrous Zoras. That's what I'm going to call them. I don't know if that's their official name. Speaking of official names, I realized that I came across the information that the Bokoblin King, as I've been calling him, is actually called King Bolblin. But I'm not going to call him that because that way if I call him that, I'm going to think of Pikmin every single time I say his name, and he doesn't look like anything that would be in Pikmin. And a Bolblin is basically just a bloated Bokoblin anyways. But the original Zoras are monster people. These are the closest to fish, actually. But even they are amphibians. Because fish can't jump out of the water and run around. It's part of being a fish. They have gills. But they're still amphibious reptiles or amphibians. Because we don't know if they can live underwater forever. Otherwise, they'd have no reason to pop out their head. So, just an assumption I'm making. The next type of Zoras we're going to talk about is spoilers for the Wind Waker. The Rito. The Rito aren't fishes at all. Aren't even aquatic. They're bird people. But they are an evolutionary offshoot of the Zoras when the waters in the Wind Waker's fish all died out because of heavy population from monsters and possibly some magic involving the sealing of Hyrule. I'm not going to really address this one much because there's actually a lot of lore in that, and I will probably end up Let's Playing the Wind Waker at some point because it's a fantastic game. I'll probably end up playing A Link to the Past too, especially if it's requested, but just it's not as high on my list because it was a little bit before my time. I was only able to play it a couple times as a kid, and then I had to rent it. But on to the Zoras we all know the best, the classic quote fish people unquote. The Zoras aren't fish. They can't possibly be fish. First off, as we've already discussed, if they were anything, they would be amphibians. But they're not even that. The Zoras are a species unlike any species on Earth. And unlike any other species in the Zelda lore. They lay eggs, as we discovered with Lulu in Majora's Mask, so that means you'd think that they would be either fish, amphibians, or amphibious reptiles. But they are both male and female Zoras, so we're able to look at their anatomy a little bit closer. Female Zoras have breasts. That means they have mammary glands. That means that they produce milk. Producing milk is not a trait that any reptile, amphibian, or fish has. It's a mammalian trait. That's right, the Zoras are mammals. More specifically, the Zoras are scaled amphibious monotremes. If you ever watched the show Phineas and Ferb on the Disney Channel, you'd know that a monotreme is what a platypus is. A monotreme is a mammal that lays eggs. There are only 2 known monotremes on the Earth. The first being the duck-billed platypus, and the second being the Australian echidna. These are the only mammals on the earth that lay eggs. And it's really peculiar because I'm pretty sure platypuses don't have nipples, but they do produce milk, a trait required in being a mammal. It means they're generally mammals young is born alive, and that's why they produce milk, is so they can care for their live offspring immediately. Well, reptiles, amphibians, and fish lay their eggs, hide them, and leave them and wait for them to hatch. Or in some rare cases, hide them and then stick around and protect them a little bit for the first couple years of their life. Anyway, more stuff about the Zoras. I think I figured out how the Zoras have adapted in so many ways. I feel like that Zoras are basically the Zelda equivalent of the Pokemon Eevee. They evolve when they're exposed to a certain stimuli or a certain altering thing, particularly scales. This would explain why Link is able to acquire Zora's scales in Ocarina of Time, and why they affect his physical anatomy, allow him to hold his breath for longer and dive deeper. And it explains why the Rito grow their wings whenever they acquire their scales. I feel like the Zoras from Ocarina, the aquatic scaled monotremes, there is a scaled mammal as well. It's actually what Sandshrew is based off of. Are the base form for the Zoras. Whenever they're completely prevented from acquiring the scales that allow them to adapt or change, as they grow, they turn into the feral Zoras that we see in the top-down Zelda games. If they're exposed to a water scale, likely harvested at the Water Temple, a place sacred to the Zoras, they're allowed to become adults in their base form. They become swift swimmers, and they're able to prey off the creatures of the sea. I don't know if Zoras are carnivores or herbivores, but based off their architecture, I'd probably say they're a little of both. However, when the Water Temple was flooded so completely and utterly, the pressure would basically crush any living thing that wasn't protected by some form of magic. This would cut the Zoras off from their ability to get their scales to reach their normal form. It's revealed very early in the Wind Waker, so I don't feel like I need to spoil this. This is literally first dungeon stuff. That the Rito grow their wings whenever they acquire a scale from the Dragon Guardian Valu. So, the Zoras adapt based off of what scales they collect. They are, in their base form, they are aquatic monotremes that are scaled. In their feral form, they are amphibious reptiles or amphibians. And in their Wind Waker form, they are feathered monotremes. Yeah, that's something that doesn't exist on our planet. I mean, maybe the closest thing you could find is that there was a dinosaur fossil discovered a while ago, that there were feather imprints discovered around where its wing bones were. It's the same thing that the Pokemon Archeops is based off of. It's really fascinating to talk about some of these creatures' anatomies. There's really not much to go into with there's a lot to go into with the Deku Scrubs, but I really don't know where to go with it. And it feels kind of irrelevant based off of this lore, based off of the game we're playing, Twilight Princess. And I do have one more of these waiting for you guys, believe it or not. But it won't come until the next dungeon. I have a lot more time to talk. I'm sorry I got really lost in this episode. It was actually a huge pain in the neck because I couldn't figure out for the life of me, even after I said I need to remember that the room with the gears in it, that the gears are turning, I completely forgot. And for that, I apologize. Also, I was informed by Bryman, that's who I thought was Breeman before, that the Goron Elder that looks like the Elder from Majora's Mask is holding a pipe and not a microphone. There's really no evidence to support this except for the fact that it says so very clearly in the Hyrule Historia. And to be perfectly honest, I don't have the Hyrule Historia. I guess I should mention all of this digging for information I do on my own merit. If I do hear something from Game Theory or Did You Know Gaming or Peanut Butter Gamer or somebody on the internet, then I will always credit them. But I would never go on a long explanatory tangent like this on information that I had uncovered from a third or second party source. This is first party. This is my Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time information. Nobody made this for me. And I really want to just say how much I appreciate what you guys have done for this channel. It's growing slowly, but it's growing, and at the time that I'm recording this, I just made episode 18 of Twilight Princess public, and I've got to say, we're at 24 subscribers. We're at nearly 1,000 lifetime views, over 800 channel views. I'm not sure what the difference between those two things is, and I haven't been able to find an answer. But those are big, impressive numbers. That means that 24 people around the world sit down to watch my videos on a regular basis. Maybe not every day, maybe not every week, but they do sit down. They want to see more. And nothing makes me happier than that thought. Except for kittens and puppies. And playing video games. But because playing video games is directly involved, it is just absolutely amazing to me. Because when I sit down and I watch my videos in editing, I do have moments wherever I think, I wouldn't want to see this, I wouldn't watch this. But that's part of the nature of the beast with Let's Plays, is that there are always going to be a couple of episodes that stand out as the more boring or the more dull episodes. And I have had some episodes that I've watched. Keep in mind, I'm very harsh critic of my own information. Wherever I say, wow, that went out flawlessly, that was fantastic, I'm super happy with the way that turned out. But anyways, there's so much to talk about. The hardest thing about doing this is that I have to hold myself back in commentary. I can't divulge things that I've discovered later down the road, because if I do, I wouldn't have anything to talk about then. And it wouldn't really make sense mentioning some of the secrets I've found now. Oh, they finally released a pseudo trailer for the next Zelda for the Wii U. That game's release very well mark my purchasing of a Wii U. The games I use to determine when to buy a new console usually are Pokemon and Zelda. And for the other franchises, I would always, as a child, just wait to receive one as a gift, or I would wait until a lot of my friends had it and then I had to get one, or something. Well, this has been going on for about 15 minutes. I think I'll just speed up the footage so I don't have to keep on talking forever. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video. Hey everybody, welcome back to live commentary. Sorry I got lost. This is the Lakebed Temple after all, but still, it wasn't as complicated as I thought. Like I said, usually if you just wander around, you can figure stuff out. And I came back in right here because I'm pretty sure... Scratch that, I'm sure it's time for the mini-boss of this dungeon. One thing I really like about the way they did Twilight Princess is that most of the mini-bosses in this game could be standard bosses in the normal Zelda, in any other Zelda game. Okay, for some reason Link just decided he wasn't going to release that spin attack. Oh god! That was not good. I guess now I know how to hurt it. Its tongue is its vulnerable spot. So first I have to take care of all of its spawn. You know, I bet that this fight walk works like the fight against Goma in Ocarina of Time. I bet we can hit it with our bow. When it goes to scream spawn. No. Never mind. It was an idea. And there probably is something. Maybe I have to use a bomb arrow or something. Who knows? It's easiest to just flail at these, I think. I mean, we could play on the safe side and try not to get hit, but that'd be a lot tougher. Okay, we're gonna get ya. We're gonna get ya. And there's its shadow. And that's kind of gruesome, but that's really gruesome. But we win. Do I have to open the chest? I'm gonna open the chest. What's inside is definitely worth the odor. I'll definitely say that. Oh right, I forgot my camera rolls over right at 20 minutes. I don't know how I forgot, because it's done that ever since I've started recording, but we got the claw shot. Essentially this game's variant on the hook shot and the long shot. More specifically the long shot, because it has a longer range like the long shot. But unlike the long shot and the hook shot, we're allowed to hold on to our target for as long as we feel is necessary. And now that we have the main dungeon item, I think we're gonna call it pretty soon. Two episodes into the Lakebed Temple, and we have the claw shot. And I've talk to you guys about the anatomy of Zoras. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that, because there's a lot of misconception there, and I wanted to clear it up. Oh, we're gonna go over there. We're gonna go over there. We're gonna go over there really quick. Really? That was just utterly... It was a waste of time is what it was. But anyways, now that we're back this far, I've been Ninjo X the Enlightened Gamer. This has been Let's Play Twilight Princess. Until next time, stay enlightened. Hey everybody, Ninjo X here. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. I really appreciate the support. If you want to give more support, why not click the like button if you liked what you saw? Or consider subscribing if you really enjoyed it. Also, feel free to click on any of my other projects, my vlogs, my side, my last Let's Play, which was Pokemon Blue, and just share, talk about it in the comments section, and enjoy yourselves. As I've already said, stay enlightened.